address this evening. If you look at your program, you will see on the back page, there is some information about Rory T. Edwards. I'm not going to talk about that information that's on that back page. I want you to read about that because I want to tell you about the Rory Edwards that I know. To begin, I want to describe this young man that will appear in your presence in a couple of minutes. The word that best fits him is foundation. And many of you know that if you're building a house, what must you have but a good foundation? Brother Edwards has planted many seeds in the Connecticut communities with good foundations. From being a family man, from being an uncle, from being a godfather, from being a good friend, from being just who he is. Anywhere and everything that he has touched has become a foundation. When you're building a foundation, one of the things that you need, and one of the strongest things that you need, is strength. 14 years ago, Rory came to me and asked that I continue to build the foundation that he had started in the New Britain, Connecticut area. Rory is the founder and the past director of the Saturday Morning Academy. Excuse me. I worked as a silent partner with Rory developing this academy for a period of time. And I seen what he went through developing the academy. And there was times that I would say to him, good luck, man, because this is nothing that I think I would ever want to do. And after years of watching him and developing what he developed, Rory called me one night and he said, Tony, it's time to pass the baton. And at that time, he was the NAACP president of New Britain. And I was the youth advisor for the Merit Model for NAACP. And I told him, I said, that's as far as I'm taking the office. And he said, I'm not talking about that, I'm not talking about that. He said, start a program in your community. And I said, that's nothing that I really think I want to do. I seen you and I worked with you on the sidelines for the Saturday Morning Academy. And time and effort is a must. But after praying on it, and under some leadership and guidance of Dr. Eddie B. Joyce, who's sitting here tonight, I wrote up From Boys to Men. And all Rory said was just remember the foundation. What you want to do and how you want to do it is going to mean a lot, and it's going to have the strength of the program. So I continue to create this foundation, being led by many, but with God foremost. And I continued this foundation, and I had to remember many things in this foundation, but one of the things I remembered was Rory T. Edwards. Because he came to me with the vision to move on, to do something else. And at that time, I was really watching the stats of our young men in the Meriden area. And we found out that our young men were going to school, but there was no foundation. And see, foundation starts at home. Many of us think that we send our kids to school for a foundation. No. Foundation starts at home.
It's true.
Because LOVE starts at home. Okay? To have a strong foundation, you must have a desire of love for that foundation. One of the things that many of the crossovers all during the years have remembered is the famous saying that we got from Rory T. Edwards. And that was, no one fails a man fails on his own. I didn't understand it at first, but as I began to work from Boys to Men, I knew what it was all about. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to some and present to others our keynote speaker for the evening, Brother Rory T. Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. I know nobody saw me look up, but because I'm trying to put this timer on, because I have been given a certain amount of time. But I can guarantee you that I will not use all of that time. And the other thing I want you to know is that I will not stand behind that podium. Because I'm going to be walking out here, because some of you that I talked to, that I listened to today, is part of the message that I developed. Now, there's a few people that know me here, and there's a few people that will get to know me. Now, do you think everybody in this room is going to believe what I have to say tonight? No, because you know why? Because my job is to shake your soul. My job is to make you understand what your true purpose on this planet is supposed to be. And some of you may say, well, it's not my purpose. Well, it is your purpose. If you're here tonight, it's your purpose. So we're here to talk about something that is very important and dear to my heart. But first and foremost, I must say that I couldn't be here without certain people. And so there's one thing that I might get a little emotional, because when I talk about my father, I get a little emotional. So I'm going to recognize some gentlemen who, when I see them, I'm looking for my father. And so my father's been gone now 16 years. And the fact of the matter is that that's my foundation. And some of you may know him, some of you may not. But for me, that was my foundation. And I think that no man can have a strong foundation. Oh, he's silly. But see, I ain't afraid to cry.
It's all good.
That's the wrong thing. I'm definitely not afraid to cry, because when you cry for what you love,
come on,
then you're a grown man.
come on, go ahead.
When you sit up here and think about the fact that, oh, he crying because he's soft. Please don't let this bow tie fool you. No, sirree. No, not at all. I just thank God for the fact that he gave me this humbling spirit to be able to even shed a tear in front of y'all. Not knowing any of y'all. But the fact of the matter is that I have a very serious message that I want to share with you all. And I hope that you take it back, and then you take it out into your community, and then you take it out into the much larger community. Because see, my job here, I used to live in Connecticut. My job here is now global. And I've only been blessed to do this on a global level because of the perseverance of what Tony spoke about, that foundation. But when we talk about the academy that I started, and I didn't really, not me, let me take that back. The academy that we started, the Once a Man, Twice a Child, came out of the mere fact that over so many years, I've watched our young men not have access to the resources that gave them the ability to be great men. And for every community and everything that evolves in your life, it starts with the men. And if our men are weak, our legacy becomes weak. If our legacy becomes weak, we will never have existed.
That's real.
And so if you walk around content and say, well, let them do it by themselves, then you get the results of what you let them do by themselves. There's a crusade. If anybody knows anything about Middle Eastern, I taught it, gosh. I bet not nobody at the Topa teachers now here. No, I don't know. I taught it. Wow. Middle Eastern history. There was a crusade by Stephen Coyle, and it was called the Children's Crusade. And the children got upset with the fact that the adults weren't progressive enough. And so they went out and they tried to start their own crusade to change the way that they were perceived. And what happened is they went out into the ocean with the boats, and what happened is they got bombarded and they got raided by some pirates in the ocean, and they never heard of these individuals again because they thought that they were adults, but they were not prepared for what they were about to envision. But I say all that to say that there's a young lady in here tonight, and she knows I'm going to talk about her, who, for the years that I was NAACP president, I could have never, ever accomplished one thing if it wasn't for Sister Davis, right here. Please stand up. Sister Pauline Davis, right here. This was my right hand. This was the sister right here who, for 13 years, never allowed me to procrastinate because she understood and she held me accountable for making sure that everything that we did in that community of New Britain and in the state and in the nation changed the lives of those we were supposed to touch. She never allowed that. And for 13 years, she and I never missed a meeting. We never missed any event. And the fact of the matter is that one time I went to Nationals and I got so sick I almost died. But this is the one person who came and checked on me and made sure that I went to there and I was working so hard for the people that I had acquired meningitis. And then when I got back home, my doctor told me I had walking pneumonia, and he said, "How are you walking?" And I said, "By the grace of God, that's all." That's the reason why I walked, because he knew I was on a true mission to do what I had to do. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about the foundation of things, we have to realize, I don't need this really, but we have to realize that our foundation is something that we stand fast on and that we are steadfast on making sure that it produces what our results are supposed to be. So let me share a story with you. I'm a storyteller by trade, and then I'm going to come back. A few months ago, you all remember that the lottery took $1.3 billion. You all remember that? Mm-hmm. Okay, I now reside in Las Vegas. Las Vegas does not have a lottery. So I had to drive over the state to California and to buy some tickets. So I drove like 30 minutes to the state line, and I got to a lottery place, and it was about a 5-hour wait. And so I said, should I wait 5 hours for these lottery tickets? I said, I never played, but I know I'm going to win, so I should wait 5 hours. But I thought about it, and I said, the next city over, if I drive 10 more minutes, I can get another city. And it's called Baker's. So I said, well, let me drive to Baker. Let me tell you how people think. I drove to Baker, which took about 30 minutes, and there were no people in line. All of those fools were at Prim waiting in line for 5 hours. I walked in and got my 2 little tickets. So when I got my 2 tickets, I drove back by Prim where they were, and I stopped and I said, hey, if you all go down 40 minutes down the street, there's no line. They said, you're just trying to get me out of line. I showed them my tickets and I kept driving. So what did I do? I went to my bank. So I went and got a withdrawal slip. I wrote out a withdrawal slip. I wrote it out for $1 million. And I went up to my teller and I told her, I said, how you doing? She said, hey, Miss Davis. I said, how you doing today? She said, I'm doing well. How are you? I said, I'm doing absolutely amazing. And I gave her the slip and she said, Miss Davis, you want to withdraw $1 million? I said, I do. So she went back, she punched up my name. She came back, she said, Miss Davis, it must be a mistake. I said, how can there be a mistake? She said, you don't have $1 million in your account. I said, I don't? She said, no. I said, well, I want to withdraw it anyway. So she went back and she got the manager, and the manager came over. He said, Mr. Edwards, how are you today? I said, sir, I'm absolutely amazing. How are you? He said, great. He said, the teller tells me that you want to withdraw $1 million out the bank. And I said, I absolutely do. He said, well, why would you want to withdraw $1 million out the bank? I said, oh, I'm sorry. He said, because this is serious? If you're serious, then this is a different conversation we're about to have. I said, my mistake. I'm sorry. Let me explain to you what happened. I said, do you play the lottery? He says, I do. I said, guess what? He said, what? I said, I bought the winning tickets. And I said, what I want to do is I want to invite all my friends here tonight. We're going to have a huge party tomorrow because tomorrow I'm of how I'm living. So I want to enjoy with all my friends tonight. And he said, well, Mr. Edwards, I have the best solution for you. I said, what would that be? He said, how about if you just come back tomorrow after you win, and we'll take all your money, and I'll give you $1 million in a special room that you can count by yourself. I said, are you serious? He said, I sure am. I said, that's incredible. Thank you very much. I said, what I'll do is I will be back tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you. What that means is that I did not win. I love you all. I love Tony. I love his parents. I love all the other friends of ours. But I would not be standing in front of you if I won that $1.3 billion. I would be in a whole different area code, right? So The whole purpose of that story is I want to share something with you all. And the moral of that story is that you cannot withdraw something you did not deposit. I'm going to say that one more time. You cannot withdraw something you did not deposit. And so, if your intellect, if anything that you do in life does not give you the opportunity to withdraw, you cannot. If it doesn't give you the opportunity to make that deposit, you cannot withdraw from what you have not provided. This is what Mr. McCullough said. I've given him the foundation. And this is what I've done all over this country. I've planted seeds in many, many, many communities. I do not share that information because it's not about me. It's about my legacy. It's about my legacy. And my legacy was established a very long time ago. And there's a thing that I do with people, and that's why I said I'm going to be very short, because it's a short segment that I like to share with you. Because when I heard the young men come in, 5 out of the 6, when they alluded to what they're most interested in, it has something to do with sports. So there's one reason why I wrote my book, and we're going to talk about that later, because I do have books over there for sale. But anyway, one of the things that I do know is that's why I've gone all over this country trying to talk to people about wanting to become a professional athlete. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's more opportunities out there for you to become a professional person that can move the bar much higher than you ever imagined being a professional athlete. Mm-hmm. And so there's nothing wrong with that. But there's much more opportunities again for you moving your bar much higher. Now, one of the things that I do when I go around, I ask people all the time, we ain't want to be credible. Mm. But you know what I saw? I saw so many brothers denying that right. To be whatever man you are, whatever race you are. Please don't take this as to black man being the best. If you're a man, I want you to be the best. Mm. But for me, when I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed at night, I'm a black man. Mm-hmm. When I stand up here and I talk, people get on the phone and say, you must be a black man. Mm. I said, no, I'm a confident man. Mm. I'm an educated man. I'm a talented man. And I'm a gifted man because my foundation was built on strong moral principles by my father and by my mother. Come on. And so when I tell people, it has nothing to do with being a black man, but I always wanted to be one. And I share this story because at 4 years old, I remember in New Britain, my mother left me at school a little late. And I had a little Woody Woodpecker guitar. And my mother was 2 minutes late, and I walked down the street, and I was ringing that little Woody Woodpecker guitar, and I was just singing along with it. And I walked by in New Britain. If anybody's familiar with New Britain, Hartford Avenue used to be the spot. Okay. Hartford Avenue used to have all the black businesses in New Britain. And I remember walking by, seeing all those gentlemen in Hartford Avenue, all of the businesses, all of those men just being very confident, being business owners, being contributors to the community. And I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be one of them. And then as I grew older, I saw those businesses start to dwindle. I saw black people not contributing to black businesses. I saw black people disrespecting black people. I saw all of this, and then what happened, it started to translate into our children. I saw people disrespecting our children, and so our children started to turn around and disrespect them. And that's why we're in the condition we are right now. That's why children talk to us the way we talk, the way they talk to us now, is because we allowed them to grow from the top to the bottom. Instead of nurturing them from the bottom to the top, we let them start at the top like they're grown, and we allow them now to talk to us saying, well, I don't want to hurt your feelings, baby. Well, guess what? The world's going to hurt their feelings. That's real. The world's going to hurt their feelings if we don't teach them how they respond and how they talk. I did that. My mother beat me and she said, you better never walk away from that school again because you know how many people can get you? And I said to myself, I'm a little lion, Mommy. I'm growing up. I'm going to get my mane. I'm going to do it. And so what I do, 2 weeks later, she was late. I walked home again. I got another beating. But you know what? For me, it was all about becoming that man that I saw people to become. Come on. And so one of the things that's very important to me is that I'm sort of selfish in this statement right here because I'm so very happy to see Mr. McQuillan and I'm very happy to see Mr. Tulsi. Those are friends of my father's. But the one thing that I do remember about those gentlemen that really stands out of my brain is that most people don't know that New Britain was the first city in America, really, to have the Martin Luther King statue erected in this city.
Wow.
New Britain was the first one. But you know what happened the first time we put it up? There were some individuals, some gentlemen who called themselves the Ku Klux Klan, who came down there and said they were going to deface that monument because that man that made no contributions to the country. And you know who stood up, the group I'm very proud to be in? It was the Masons. It was those gentlemen sitting at that table right there. With my father who came to say that we as black men are not going to have anything in our community defaced. And so for that particular reason, that is why on April 20th, 2016, it will be 36 years that I have been a member of the Masonic Lodge, Ionic Lodge number 7, 36 years. And for me, that was a great feat because what happened is the day I got raised, I ran to have a conversation with my father because what it did, it made me cross over into being a man. Because I was able to get on the phone with my father and talk Masonic talk versus daddy-son talk. And so these are the things that the organizations are doing that people really don't recognize and that people don't see as any contributor to the better society. What we do is we find faults of organizations who are doing things. This organization right here should be 10,000 boys sitting up there. Are American schools. Everybody here who has a friend, a son, a daughter, or anybody who knows somebody should have 10,000 students on a waiting list for Tony's program. 10,000. We shouldn't have 6 boys. We shouldn't have 15 who started and 6 who finished. We should have 10,000 because if we don't save our men, we never have anything for us to attach to say we are great people. Because we failed our children. And if we failed our children, we failed ourselves.
Come on.
It's all about my legacy. It's all about the dash. It's all about the things that make me who I am. And these are built on the shoulders of strong people. Not just black people, but I spoke about black people because I am one. I can't speak about anybody else, but all I can speak about is being great at what you do. Being great at who you are, and then people will respect you for what you're trying to do. This man not only did this program for 13 years, but he's called me on every year saying, what am I doing wrong? And I said, you're doing nothing wrong. You're doing everything great. With the work of the gentleman, him and Carlos, they're doing everything great.
Absolutely.
And they're working out here every day to help your children become better citizens of America. And if you don't respect that, then...
That's real.
Because as men, our job is to give back to those who are coming after us. It's just like a wave. It's just like a wave. And women, please don't think I'm going to let you off the hook that easy. Because you all, 90% of the problems and the trouble or the good things I've ever done have been to impress a woman. The reason I have these glasses on right now is to impress a woman, because if I trip and you laugh at me, then I can't see, I might trip, and then you're going to laugh at me. I'm going to say, see, that woman did, that woman laughing at me, so I got to keep these glasses on, because I can't see nothing. But anyway, the reason why I say that is 90% of what I've done wrong or right has been to impress a woman. If women would just stop allowing the buffoonery to happen out of our young people, then it would change the whole complex overnight. Overnight.
Come on.
I guarantee you that. All you have to do is say, I don't accept that behavior. I don't accept that behavior, and I guarantee you, every man in here will change. I might open the bag a little bit, gentlemen. Some of you might go home and your wife say, I'm not accepting that behavior. And it's going to change how your relationship is, but I'm sorry. You got to change your behaviors, okay? So, I'm going to close out real short. I just want to share one more story with you, because this is one of the things that I really, really believe in what I do. The one thing that I actually want to do is I want to challenge everybody this evening. Some of you may say, well, I'm doing everything I can. The one thing that I said, if the Creator gave you breath today,
Come on.
you have the ability to make a change in someone's life.
Absolutely.
You may not have somebody that you know you can give the opportunity to be in this program. It may not be in your household, but you know somebody on your block. You know somebody at the school you teach at or you taught at. You know somebody that you drive by every day. You see him standing on the corner doing the same things every day. If you point him in the direction or her in the direction of where they'll go, they want direction. We've lost the ability to communicate. The most powerful thing on this earth is your words.
Come on.
If you just have the ability to open your mouth and share with young people about what they are here and why they are here and the great ability they have to change the world, then it'll change overnight. This is a fact. I'm not sitting up here telling you all something that you don't know. And if you don't think you have the ability, you do have a gift. If you got breath this morning,
Come on.
you have a gift.
It's a gift.
And so I'm going to finish with this one story that I like to share with everybody on why I am who I am. There were 3 fishermen, and I'm going to use Africa again, you know, just little 3 fishermen in Africa. And the 3 fishermen were on the shore and they were fishing. And they were just talking about what's going on in the village and how is everything in the village going. And how are the children? Everybody said the children are doing really well. And they said, we are so proud of the outcomes that we have from our children. It's so very good to hear that our children are doing well. And so as they're talking on the shore, all of a sudden they see a child floating down the river. So the man, one of the fishermen, drops his pole and he runs into the river and he grabs the child out, he drags the child to the shore and he starts to resuscitate him. And as he's resuscitating him, a second child comes down the river. And so he runs back in, he tells the second guy, please resuscitate that child for me while I go get the second one. And he runs in the water and he grabs the second child and he pulls him out. And so he and the second fisherman are resuscitating the 2 children. And as he's doing that, here come 2 more children floating down the river. And so he runs in, he tries to grab them, and so he's just standing in the river because there's multiple children now coming down the river. And he's trying to pull them out. He's telling the second man, come on, help me, pull them out. We got to pull them out. We got to pull them out. And as he's doing that, he looks around, and the third man is walking away. And he says, well, my God, what are you doing? Why are you walking away? Where are you going? The third man said, I'm going to see where they're throwing a man. We have to stop believing that the children who are on that we're pulling out the ocean need resuscitation. We have to go back to the root of where our children are being thrown in the river.
Absolutely.
We have to go back to the root of where our children are being thrown in the river. And we have to change the fact that our children are being thrown in the river. Because with every children that we have to resuscitate, that takes breath out of us. I just need to know from you all. This is not, you don't have to raise your hand, you don't have to tell me something, because my job, again, like I told you in the beginning, is to just challenge your soul.
Come on.
What fisherman are you? What fisherman are you? I know what fisherman I am. I know what fisherman I've been over the last 25 years, even though I've only celebrated my 28th birthday 3 days ago. But for 25 years, I've been this fisherman right here. I know what fisherman I am. Ladies and gentlemen, next year, on the 13th year of this illustrious, wonderful program, I expect Mr. McQuillan, Mr. Carlos Otero, to have both of these rooms open, filled.
Speak it.
Filled.
Speak it.
That's what I expect. Will I come back? I am going to come back. He's not going to let me speak again, but I'm coming back. But I'm going to do something. I might just stand outside out there and try to sell more books. Because that's what I'm doing now. I'm on this book tour. But the serious thing, though, I just wrote a book. I'm sorry to share this, but that's what I'm on this tour. I've been on tour for like 11 days. I've been in Philadelphia. I've been in New Jersey. I've been in Delaware. And now I'm in Connecticut. And then tomorrow I leave. Monday I leave and I go back to Philadelphia. And then I get on the plane and go back to wonderful Las Vegas.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Where the sun is shining and the temperature is going to be 80-something degrees. I'm just saying, though, honestly, just to be on the serious side, I wrote a book, the title is So You Want to Be a Professional Athlete. The reason I did that, because like I said, for the last 25 years, I've been all over the country trying to develop programs for especially our young men. And everywhere I've gone, from Africa through the Caribbean countries, all the way here to the shores of America, I've asked our young men, where have you lost your thirst for excellence? And they lost it here on the shores of America, trying to assimilate it to a program that was never developed for us. And so we have to realize that if we allow somebody else to do for us, we become them. If you can't do for your own children, then expect your children to become exactly what the system has been for them to become. Honestly. But again, my book is about 10 principles that give your child or you or anyone the ability to put together a blueprint that will give you success in your life. Not my success, it's your success. And nobody in this room is too old, and nobody in this room is too young. Success is what happens when, like I said earlier, why I stood by the head of my father's coffin to see all those people send him home saying that he was a great man.
Come on.
That's all it's about. Be a great man, be a great woman, be great people, and you'll create a great community and a great world. Thank you all for the time. I appreciate you. Next year, had a goal. Thank you.